Thank you, Mia. I don't know if I can live up to that introduction, but thank you very much. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I want to thank Tulane, who's going to be the moderator today and the boss here. I want to thank Mona Lisa for her great work in our city. I want to thank all of the people from Boston in this room that do this work every single day. Thank you. I know he's going to be speaking in a few minutes, but I know Reverend Jeffrey Brown is here. I want to thank Reverend Brown as well. And I'm going to talk about my team in a minute, but thank you. I want to congratulate everyone at Mothers for Justice and Equality. This conference and this organization, as mayor, I'm proud to see that the women of Boston have taken this issue on a national level. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm glad to see that Boston is leading the way. And I'm pleased to welcome all the visitors from across the United States of America. I know that we have delegations here from different cities. From Chicago, thank you and welcome. New York City, thank you and welcome. Nashville, Tennessee, thank you and welcome. St. Louis, Missouri, thank you and welcome. New Haven, Connecticut, thank you and welcome. Richmond, Virginia, thank you and welcome. From Philly, thank you and welcome. From San Francisco, thank you and welcome. And from Detroit, thank you and welcome. And if there's I missed anybody, I apologize. But you can see that this is powerful to have a national reach. You have the opportunity to make a powerful national impact here in what you do every single day. And you're certainly going to make your cities and all over the country safer and a stronger place. And I just want to, from the City Hall, we have a couple people here as well. We have Joyce Linehan, the Chief of Policy, with us today. We have Danny Mulhern from Public Safety Office here with us today. And I just want to, for me and for our city, the issue and the issues that we're talking about today are so important. They're so important to the future of our city. And I know that some of you were talking last night and you were saying, well, your mayors aren't connected. You need to get your mayors connected because it's so important. When I go to the mayor's conference or I go around the country and we talk about what's happening, they ask us what's happening in Boston. And I say, okay, well, we're doing this. Well, we're doing that too. And we're doing this and we're doing that too. But the numbers, when we look at crime and what's happening in Boston, the numbers are going down. In other cities, they're going up. So when you go back, I think the best thing that I would do if I was you, if your mayor's not connected, is the mission. The mission is to end neighborhood violence. When you run for mayor of an urban area in the cities I just mentioned, if that's not on the top of your list, then you're in the wrong job. Because that's what, it's important for me as mayor, and we work here, Joyce Linehan, the Chief of Policy. There's a lot of development outside this window, and you can see it, and that's important for us. That's important for our economy. That's important for the movement of Boston. We're doing a lot of improving our schools, but it's really about ending violence, what we're doing, because we're creating jobs for the kids of the future. We're looking at our schools and reinventing our schools, and we're redesigning our high schools because they're not working across the board right now. And we need to get them to work across the board. When we came into office, we started looking about, actually before that, when I was running for mayor, we started thinking about how do we handle the safety different? Because we have a great police department in Boston, and the organizations and the mothers that are in this room, you're tied into the police department. And there's all kinds of stories of what they do. But you can't just arrest your way out of a situation. And it has to be more than that. And so what we did was we created the Office of Public Safety in the city because we needed that conduit to work between the clergy and the police and the community and the kids and the schools and the neighborhoods and all the different challenges we have. And that's what we did that's what we're doing in our city. And we're also, when I was asked to come to a meeting a month into office, as a candidate, I knew that this organization existed. And as a state representative, I knew this organization existed. And I wasn't going there to listen and see what I can do. I was going there to be part of the solution. Because not one person or not one organization can fix and solve the problems that we've had over generations of pain. So I'm completely off script. But So I went to Mothers for Justice the first month in, and then probably in office, and then a month and a half later, I got a phone call in my office from Commissioner Evans to tell me to go to Morton Street because a 9-year-old boy had just been shot. So I go to the scene, and 9-year-old boy had been shot on Morton Street by his 14-year-old brother. They were fooling around with a gun, and the brother was fooling around, and they thought he took the clip out, and he did, but the bullet was in the chamber, and he pointed the gun and shot the gun. And so that was my first being called to a scene of a homicide. There had been a couple homicides in the city in my first 3 months, but that was the first homicide that kind of hit me between the eyes. And I thought to myself of here we have a 9-year-old little boy that's no longer with us. We have a mother who lost her 9-year-old boy, lost her 14-year-old boy, and we have a 14-year-old boy, and I don't call him a man, he's a boy, having access to a handgun. And I thought to myself, we need to do more. We need to make sure that we work to double our efforts in the community, and we did. And we're working with mothers and working on grief. And how do we continue to work on grief? We need to continue to. Mothers for Justice is an organization that I look at for inspiration. And there are many, as I said, there are many other organizations in this room. I don't want to start calling them out. They know who they are, that I look to for inspiration. Because when they call me and call us, and when they're very tied into City Hall on all different levels in our city. It's not just with me, it's with everyone in the organization of City Hall, very tied in. I was talking to somebody today, just a minute ago, and they said, well, I was at a meeting yesterday, the chief of police, Willie Gross, was there, and we were talking about issues. So the work that you do is incredible, and it's going to be important. You've done a lot to inspire us. Mothers for Justice and Equality has become a pillar of our community here in the city of Boston, and a partner for some of our most effective programs. It's giving young people the real work experience as well as conflict resolution skills. That's one of the things. So when we talk about summer jobs, we make sure that we're partnering together, that we have summer jobs for Mothers for Justice, and the young kids are out there with their shirts on, working in the summertime, passing a message along, a positive message. They're teaching financial literacy to those in prison and getting ready to reenter society. So when they talk about what's happening, it's like, okay, somebody goes to jail, they make a mistake, they go there. Well, we have to make sure that when they come out, they're better than they went in, because that's an important piece of it. They're helping, giving victims of human trafficking pathways back to safety. And again, all these different initiatives that Mothers for Justice are working on, we're working on within City Hall. Together, we're doing everything we can to reduce violence in our city. We have to continue to build police-community relations. I read some cities here that are here today, and there's been issues in your city. And we're doing now we're one incident away from having an issue in our city. We're one away, but we're working every single day at building those relationships. In the past, the clergy, who are wonderful, and I love them, come out and help, and they're still helping now, but it got to be more than the clergy-police relationship. It got to be out there talking to the kids. It's also making sure that national events have shown us that we have to continue to build trust. And trust is essential. It includes gun control. We need to take more guns off the street. We need to raise community awareness. And next week, we're holding a gun summit here in the city with our neighboring states to talk about the flow of guns in and out of our city. This is the second time we've done that. And we're doing that because New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont and the states to our north, a lot of guns are coming down. But you know what we found out when we first had the first summit? We started talking to them, and they were saying, well, a lot of drugs are going up. So we're thinking, how do we work this where we can work on the drug flow going up and we can work on the guns coming down? Ultimately, we need national gun control. This organization, and when I say organization, I'm talking nationally, you have the ability to move some people down in Washington. It's one person at a time, but you're headed that way. That's it, yeah. You know, I was just some of the things that we're working here in the city, and our anti-violence strategy. I've been asked to speak at the U.S. Conference of Mayors to the Black Congressional Caucus. We went down and we talked about gun violence and about what we're doing in Boston and what needs to happen. I was asked by the Urban League to go down and talk about education down in D.C. I went down in D.C. My Brother's Keeper program that we're running with the president, we're doing that here in the city of Boston. We're doing a lot of work, and there's a lot of different people tied in, but we still have to do more. We still have to do more. Boston's homicide rate this year is at the lowest point in 16 years. We're likely to end the year with the second lowest in decades. Yet that means more than 30 lives have been lost. So we still lost 30 young people so far, or 30 people. There was many more families wounded, many more mothers and families and communities traumatized. The work does not stop, not for 1 second. The task that we have in front of us is too great, but we have hope. We have a way forward. I am very happy to come here this morning to speak to you and to ask, just to be supportive. And anybody in this room that wants your mayor in your city to be part of your organization that's not there, you just let Mona Lisa know and say, listen, we need Marty to give a call to Philly or New York City, Mayor de Blasio or Mayor Nutter, or the new mayor in Nashville, Tennessee, or the St. Louis. I will make those phone calls. You have a new mayor in Philly, too. I will make those phone calls. This is an important dialogue. I'm honored to be here this morning. I'm honored to be up here. The only thing, I was asked a question, what keeps you up at night as mayor? And not many things keep me up at night. But what does keep me up at night is violence. The violence in our neighborhoods, the trauma that we have. Because when you hear the story, and it typically goes like this, a 16 or 17 or 18-year-old male was shot by a 16, 17-year-old male, and the records that the one kid that might have got shot or the kid that shot somebody have long, extensive records. And when you start to look back in that, when you dig into the shootings and you dig into the family history, you realize that somewhere along the line, those young people were lost in the system. And we have an opportunity now by combating the violence head on, but also it's not about combating the violence, it's making sure that we have a strong school system. We have to make sure that we have a strong system out in the community to help young people, a social service system. We need to make sure that we're creating opportunities for jobs. We need to make sure we're doing a lot of different things in our city when it comes to inequality and inequity across the line, that people aren't getting paid, people don't have work. So it's not just simply reducing the violence, it's about changing a whole mindset. And I know Mothers for Justice and Equality will do that. I know they're doing that here in the city of Boston, and I know you can do this on a national scale. I want to thank you for coming together. I want to thank you for being in this great city, and I want to let you know that anything that anybody needs, the city of Boston is going to be standing side by side with you. So thank you very much.